Hello and welcome to AmassGames. Today I'm bringing you 20 through to 11 of what I believe to be the top 250 board games of all time. That includes promos and expansions, where I believe they are better with that said game. And also, just to let you know, this is including over 1,650 games to make this list. Okay, so let's take it away. In at number 20, we have a game called King Domino. It won SPIEL.digital in 2016, as I predicted it would, by Bruno Cathala, who I've met, as I mentioned a few times. This game is out by Blue Orange, and let me show you what it's all about. So, it's kind of a bidding game initially. You've got various tiles. You're looking to get the best score possible, basically having different areas around your kingdom, and you're going to score based out of crowns that you have, these things here, times by the area. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, you've got 2, so you get 8 points, 2 times 8. Over here, you get nothing. And over here, this person looks like they've got 2 crowns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12 points they'll get there. So this person, pink, might be wanting to bid to get this. These tiles are put down in numerical order. So that's the lowest, that's the highest. It's highest because it's got a crown, and that's also got a crown. But black is rarer. You can get higher stuff when you combine with black. So it's a quite balanced game. You can get good scores. I have played in a couple of tournaments. I've come second twice. And one of them, I actually taught somebody who brought somebody else who never played it how to play. And actually, he got 1 point more than me. And the guy who initially did come, he got a score only 50 points, and I had 75 plus. Has very high scores as well. I've played it all player counts. I've also played it combined with Queen Domino at player counts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No longer own Queen Domino. And in this instance, whoever goes here, so whoever goes lowest, so they're going to get something without crowns, then they get first pick for what's going to come up next. So in this instance, they might want one of these crowns here, because as you can see, this crown with 1 piece of forest plus 2 here, that equals 3 alone. But they've already got quite a nice bit of forest going on. So there's different combinations going on there. 48 tiles. There's also the Age of Giants they've got as well. And yes, you can play it with a 5x5 grid if you completely make it into 5x5 with nothing left off. There's a variant which pretty much everyone plays, which gives you an extra 5 to 10 points, and there's an extra 5 to 10, so a total of 15 if your kingdom sits right in the centre, as opposed to branching off like that. So that is it. It's a very nice game, sort of set collection as you can imagine. Very nice game, as with many of Bruno Cathala's games. Up next, Knock Mal. I've talked about Knock Mal before. This particular one is Zuta's Block 1, and there are obviously different sets. This is one here, and in this instance, this is the red picture, as you can see. And of course, there are other maps, but in this instance, I particularly like Zuta's Block 1. I'll come back to that later, you'll see. So we have Sechs Nimmt. This is a game by Wolfgang Kramer for 2 to 10 players. And I've talked about this before, a game whereby you're placing down cards. It's basically 6 takes. You're going to simultaneously reveal a card from your hand, and whoever plays like the lowest of those in their hand will add them to the respective pile, whichever is the lowest. So in this case, if you had 50, it would go here. If you had 56, it would go on here. So if you had 54, it would go on here. 54 in this instance would mean that you'd collect all these cards into your discard, and then you put your 54 card here, for example, and then you're going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think it is, 11. So just double check that, 3, 4, 9, 10. And the reason they go to your discards is those are your points or minus points. Basically, you do not want to be collecting these. This happens over a number of rounds until someone passes 66, and that ends and triggers the last round of the game. So I've played this a couple of times and not got a single score in 2 rounds, which is great. Didn't go on to win, I don't believe. But why do I like the 25th year edition? A few extra cards, which is fine. But the best thing about it is actually comes with the score pad, so you don't have to worry about that. Nice, lovely little small books, as well as coming with a pencil, which of course is optional, but it fits very nicely in there too. So, Azul, SPIEL.digital's winner the next year, so 2017 now. Mentioned I played before breakfast, and Michael Kiesling does with his wife as well. And interesting, obviously the Pandemic illustrator, he's involved in this. So this is a pattern building, set collection kind of game, bidding game as well to a degree, whereby you're going to have tiles laid out in these factories, depending on the number of players, different amount of factories. It's usually, I think it's 2 times the amount of players plus 1. And say this person wants to go next, what they're going to be doing is picking something from here. They can pick all of one colour, so they get those 2 tiles, and they can go anywhere they like on here, or a single tile, or they could be taking something from here. In this instance, they'll be taking those 2, that one, or that one. If they take one of these, all the other 3 go here, and then of course there's more of those turquoise ones if they didn't take that. And they're going to put something on here. Now, as you can see, there's only space for one, so if they took multiple tiles of a colour, everything else goes into their sort of floor area and it's negative points. Additionally, if you happen to place it here, you can only place it here if you haven't already placed that tile down. So this row is complete. This one they could place a few things in, and the game ends, or the round ends, once all these have been taken. And then what happens, you're going to take anything that's completed and take one of them and move it across the respective area, going top to bottom. And then the game ends when someone's completed, end of a round, a certain column, a certain row. So if you completed a row here, then you'd get 5 points into the game. Anyone else who completes rows will also get 5. And also, anyone who's completed a column gets 7 points. And if you get one of each colour, for example here, it's coming along nicely, then they get 10 points. You take off your minus points at the end, which you do per round as well. And if you happen to have a first player marker, then that will also be a negative point, so be aware of that. So that's how you compare your score. So you can win many different ways. I've seen people go heavy on this, a combination of other things. It doesn't seem to matter. It's a very nice breezy game, typically takes 6 to 7 rounds, and I've mentioned, I think, that I've played this game 2-player in 9 minutes 44. Okay, beautiful to look at by Plan B and Next Move. Hansa Teutonica. This is a fantastic game, a Euro game from 2009, and what I particularly like about this game, it's a route building game amongst other things, and sort of tech trees, and what's very interesting is about area control and movement. You're looking to basically take out your board here, it takes about an hour to play, and you're laying out various things to go to various locations and get various bonuses which allow you to lay more stuff. I will be doing a video for this. I actually own all the expansions, as well as, and I used to own it before actually, and I actually have the big box one too. Now, what's interesting in this game is, it's very tight. It's pretty much open information. There's a few places where there's hidden information, and that's about it. But for a game as deep as it is, to only take an hour is fantastic. One negative, it plays 3 to 5, which is a bit of a shame. And at 3-player count, it's not that good, to be honest. I think it's best 4 to 5. And to be honest, I haven't played at 4 to 5, but I know how poor it is at 3. But I know it's practically there. It just feels wrong. It feels like it's a little too not swingy, but if one person's in the lead amongst other things, I just don't think you're competing enough in certain areas. And that's why I think it's better. And it also agrees on with everyone else. It's better at higher player counts. It's dropped off the top 100 list. There's so many new games in that top 100 list which are very new games, lots of Kickstarter games. Those games do fade away, but the prevalence of all those Kickstarter games and the audiences around the world, of course this being from one particular country, this website, then I do believe that there is a bit of an impact going on there. But whilst I'm saying all this, hit the like button if you're enjoying the content, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that notification to see the next 10 on the list, check out the playlists and all the other videos coming along. Also hit the comments box, let me know what you're thinking of this and I'll reply as soon as I can, and check out the descriptions in case I made any mistakes or any more updates. Up next, Knockmal Zooters Block 2. Blimey, yeah. So of course this is very similar to, of course, Knockmal. Here's my picture and here's that one we talked about earlier, and this one is this map here. So the only real difference is, of course, it's a different configuration. I think I quite like the layout in terms of where things are placed. They are equally distributed where they are, but I think when you're going for them, it appeals slightly. And of course, I slightly like the colour blue more. I think it stands out slightly better. And I think for that reason, I think it gives an extra shot as well. Of course, blue, of course, is the background here, and red is the background of here. But as you can see, there are fewer, in my opinion, clarification issues, perhaps. Let's say there's, for example, only 2 here, and there's 3 here. Okay, I'll come back to that, because now I'm talking about the set of 3. Yes, there are 3 Zooters blocks. So in this one, the reason why I like this is, and as you see, there's not many pictures, is you're getting 3 complete new pads as opposed to 1. So let me talk to you through about Knockmal again. What you're doing in Knockmal is you're choosing to roll dice, and when you roll them, what you're doing is you're crossing off various things on your player board. And what you're going to be doing is, for example, you roll a red 2, and I don't know, you're starting from the centre here, you can cross off a red and a red, which means next turn, whatever you roll, let's say you roll a, I don't know, it might be a green 4 or something, you've got stuff down here, and then you're constantly expanding out. As soon as you complete a column, you announce it, and anyone else as well that round will get some points, as well as what you're trying to do is complete all of one colour to get 5 points. You have stars, if those don't get crossed off, you're going to lose 2 points. And you have some jokers, so if ever you roll a question mark or a black die colour there, it allows you to use a wild, but that is going to cost you, or you're not going to gain a point for doing that as well. So that's not Malzuta's block set, so you get everything. Up next, another German game is Zug. This is not Ticket to Ride Germany, this is Zug Deutschland. There's a difference, so this is another route building game. The difference being is it does not have these sets of meeples which basically allow you to try to have the majority in various locations. What you're doing here is, one thing I dislike about the game is the text is a little hard to read, but it's the first game in the Ticket to Ride series which for me involves going out to different countries. So if you look down here, I think over here you can actually see there's Denmark and there are multiple routes in and out, so you're not sort of screwed over there. And the best part of the game is this little bit here. It seems to really bottleneck people. Of course, it's based on Germany, but going around here, I've deliberately bottlenecked someone here, and it turned out they weren't even going that way anyway. So it's nice as a 2, nice all-player counts. Like I say, the fact it goes into different countries is nice for me. And I said there's something about this little bit here which is just quirky and fun, and it's amazing how many routes go through it. And of course, in a 2-player game, only one person can be going there, which for some people might not like playing it too. In fact, being a rummy-like game, a set collection game of going to different places, interestingly, no one puts anything on there. But in this instance, everyone's going hard on going for 4. Okay, up next of Dizzle. So this is at number 12. This really surprised me. This was a really, really good game by Spiel and also by Stronghold Games. And I've got a video out for this as well, so check out the description. I'll put that up in due course. In Dizzle, what you're looking to do is, and unfortunately there's very few decent pictures to be honest, is what you're looking to do is play some dice out. So you're going to roll them, and you're going to, this is actually my picture, as you can probably tell from here, as you're taking out dice and you're going to move out from these central locations, and you've got various objectives you're trying to complete. So there are 4 different paths you can play with. This is level 2 as an example, and if you happen to reach a lock here, you need to get a key first to let you go past it, or you have to go round. But there's a set of 7 dice normally, and in this instance I could take this 2 here and go here, and I hope nobody takes the 3 for example, and I can go there. And then if I can't go anywhere, maybe I want to try and roll and get a 5 to get a gem, give myself 2 points into the game, or maybe go from this direction. So you have to go where you can go, and then you save your progress at the end of each round. And in a 2-player game, you're playing say 6 rounds, solo 10, fewer with more players. And like I said, if you get the bomb symbol, what that means is nobody else can go on their board. All these boards are identical, so it's kind of a race. You can choose to go for the jigsaw puzzle and get 30 plus, maybe 20 points, and yeah, see how you get on. So hopefully that sounds of interest. This is a roll and write, obviously, and very, very much enjoy it. I was very, very impressed, and I think it's incredibly well done when you play it, and just the way of this particular pattern and how well it's kind of thought out. You think like it's random, but actually there's typically only 3 different types once you place down the 2 that you can touch, and no more than that. Which, to be honest, makes sense because there's only ever 3 places you can go out from. Up next, yes, the Legacy game, the new one, 2020 game, Pandemic Legacy Season 0. No more pictures to show you to avoid spoilers. I really like this one. I haven't finished playing it. I've got December to go. I didn't find it particularly difficult necessarily. I mean, it was challenging, but it's the only one in the series I've played as a 2. And I love playing games all player counts. Very enjoyable, fantastic components, and also interaction, the story, the arc, the just the in-game mechanics and what you're doing. I really like what they've done with it. Additionally, I find that I've only lost I think 1 game in November. If I hadn't lost any games, I've had a slightly different opinion, but not much. But very enjoyable so far, really interesting. I think it fits in very well into the trilogy, considering this is set before the others, people might like that without wanting to give anything away. And in a way, it's very nice that during obviously this pandemic moments in the world, that the fact is that this is actually a Cold War theme instead of something else. So that's to its credit. I think they've done a great job with that, and I think hopefully this is going to hit lots of people's collections. I will be playing this as a canon now, so 0, then 1, then 2, and I'd be very keen to see that person's opinion on what they think of that. So obviously very highly rated. Ratings don't always correlate to the ranking, because it also depends on how much I want to play it, as a few other matters and sort of metrics too. So thanks very much. Like I say, only 10 more to go. There might be some promos, there might be some expansions in there, but only 10 more to go, and I look forward to bringing you to that very soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.